Can you hear me?
Can you hear us? Hello?
Hello? Am I muted?
You're not muted.
Is it 2020 still?
It's 2020. Yes, we've gone back in time.
Oh my god.
Oh my. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Traffic on the fives. Just kidding. How we doing?
I'm doing good. Looking forward to the weekend. Got some manual labor lined up.
Holy crap. Gonna do some manual labor?
Yeah, I got to finish the hardwood floors upstairs and then clean the garage. And I have mounted a winch or hoist in the attic of my garage, so it goes through the floor, through the ceiling.
Okay.
And so I got to put together the frame so I can hook it up to my Jeep, and then lift the roof off the Jeep and into the recess of the garage ceiling, so that's I can.
Your hard top, you mean?
The hard top, yeah, so that I can get ready for summer.
Getting ready for the summertime. Yep. J-Flo says we need to raise the roof. Yes
Raise the roof. If we start doing that, the white man tornado might come out.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, we don't need that. I mean, it's bad enough when it shows up on Patch and Switch, and yeah, we don't want that.
Nobody wants to see that. Ever.
I have been having a pretty good week, my friend. Other than almost throwing my back out yesterday. Oof. I feel like an old man.
What'd you do? Pick up something on the floor? Pick up a fork?
No, I was actually at the gym doing my workout with my personal trainer, but someone had left the treadmill. The drive disengaged, and so when I stepped up to step on it, my foot slipped out from underneath me, so I had to catch myself on my other leg, and it jarred my whole back, and I was laid up pretty much for the rest of the day, just going, ow, ow, ow.
So, considering we're streaming and we're making video content, please tell me somebody got that on camera.
No, thank God. Nope. Nobody got that, and I'm quite happy because of that. It was definitely something I was not happy to go through. It hurt. It hurt a lot. But it was just jarring. I went to my chiropractor. He's like, okay, you're fine. Just chill, Jared. I'm like, okay. But, well, so shall we say a quick shout out to everyone that joined us in the chat room here?
Yes, please.
Oh, we got Buckeye Guy J-Flo, one of our indubious moderators around. Hello, Mr. J-Flo. We got Cred13, Foul Tempers in the PDX, I Am Pure, KC McFerrin, PowerShell Dev, who used up all of his French in one sentence, SharePoint Madam, Terabyte82, Visio MVP Guy. Looks like TRP8472 is not at his post and has joined us yet again. Thank you for joining, sir. And that is the crew that we have today so far.
Yeah. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone.
And to everyone. And did I see correctly? Did we have a Sonia Cuff sighting on AZ Update this morning?
We did.
How late in the night or morning is it for her to join on the AZ Update at that time?
So we go live at midnight her time. So she joins into the production meeting at 11:30.
Oh my goodness. I am per. Sorry. I finally learned how to pronounce your name. Thank you.
I am per.
I am per. Yeah.
As in, I am frightened.
I don't know, but we've now gone bilingual, everybody. We're trying to hope to get a bigger audience because of that. And so...
Oh oui, so je vais faire ma partie du show en français.
Hey? ¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
Or Anthony would say, je suis un pamplemousse.
Wow.
It's the only French he knows. I am a pamplemousse. What's a pamplemousse in English? Those big sour oranges are. I forget the name. Yet again, I have popped the clutch and stalled the brain.
We got is it grapefruit?
Thank you, Buckeye.
Looks like we had Aspen Forrester sneak in the door. Good morning. We also I am per Paul. It's great. I've never known how to pronounce your name properly until now. So thank you so much for spelling that out. I do appreciate that. I do.
Actually, that brings me to a good point. Aliases in a chat or on Discord or anything that's online are problematic for a couple things. One, you don't know how to pronounce it when you're actually trying to call them out, because people make sometimes kind of fancy with letters and numbers, and you're supposed to it's like a game of reading the license plate and seeing what it's supposed to say.
Exactly.
But also, like on Discord, we had an issue a while back where an avatar was just like a cartoon, and the name was non-descriptive, and somebody in the chat or in the conversation referred to that person as or one of the guys, or made a comment that was gender specific. When it turns out that person replied and said, by the way, I'm not a guy, but it's hard to tell. So
Can be.
It can be. So I think we made a suggestion on our Discord to, in your status, put your pronouns.
Yeah.
So if you have a non-descriptive handle or alias, at least we know by your status whether or not you're male or female.
Yep.
Or whichever you prefer.
Or your preference. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am per says, I do need to change it, but still deciding on your personal brand. Yes. That's got to be critical. Spend the time, figure it out, especially as it is going to be built as a personal brand. There's a long story around my personal brand, around J-Shock, that it's a semi-long story. And it's actually turned out to be the best personal brand I could have ever thought of. So I'm like, cool, I'm going with this.
And that's a good point, because like I used to be at Pierre Roman on Twitter and at Wired Canuck online, and I had like 2 or 3 different, because they were all kind of like different. Like by the time I went to pick one, it wasn't available. So it's good that if you're going to pick one, to actually have it everywhere. So I've now changed my Twitter to, like about a couple years ago, to @Wired Canuck, Facebook. The only one I haven't changed is LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that would Wired.Canuck on LinkedIn. I don't know. and LinkedIn is the only one where I'm using my full name. I do have 2 personal brands, I guess. J-Shock is my most well-known, but my blog I blog under is Jared on Tech. And I do own the J-Shock domain names, but I like the idea of Jared on Tech as being a little bit more professional, I guess. But most people that know me just like, whatever, Jared on Tech, really?
Well, my wife keeps asking me why I spend so much money. Well, it's not that much money. To have like wiredcanuck.com, wiredcanuck.ca, Pierre Roman.ca, Roman. I tried to get Roman.com, but it's a company that sells religious figurines in the U.S. and for some reason they don't want to let it go.
I don't know why.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah. Yep. Nope. It's been finding a personal brand is super tough, and I definitely take your time trying to figure that one out. For sure.
And I would suggest don't make it something too obscure.
Yeah. Yep.
Like if it's an inside joke that nobody's into it,
yep.
Like nobody's privy to the joke, then the joke doesn't land.
Yep. I am per did popeonarope.com. And remember, no links in chat, folks. You will get timed out by our bot. for 20 seconds the first time, and then longer each time you try and post it. If you have something you want to post, go ahead and whisper it to a mod. We'll get it. No worries.
We are that popular that we are targets of bots.
We are. In fact, there's actually let's actually call out the bots that we have in channel today. We've got Carbot 14XYZ, Commander Root, and those are the ones that I can see right away. The only other bot I see in here is Wired Canuck. I mean, wait a minute, sorry. Just kidding.
All right, so shall we start with the show?
We shall. And hey, guess what, folks? I got to tell you, there's a scary thing that's happened in the world of testing and production. We're getting organized. I know, scary. Pierre and I
Dum dum dum
dun, dun, dun. Pierre and I actually have set up a weekly meeting the Tuesday before testing and production. We actually go through and create a rundown.
That's right.
Scary, scary. So this week, we're going to take a look at some things that were brought up in the past. Let's jump into it. One of the first things was the overhead camera. Go back to it, Pierre, because I missed it.
Well, I have two. So
Okay.
I want to talk about because this is something that came up. Is it last week? The last show?
I think so.
Where I had like my all of my control plane, which by the way, I'm very happy to have gone back to just my Stream Deck.
Yeah.
It makes my desk a little bit more. But then I was talking about wait a minute, where is it? This one. So people were wondering about this one. And when we've talked in the past about camera and gear, you can really set something up like this very, very cheap. And it does give a great view depending on what you're showing. So last week I needed to show the control planes. So that made it useful. So this week I've got this one that you see, which is just a recycled GoPro on an arm with that's connected to one of our very cheap HDMI video capture card.
Yes. By the way, folks, we will find the link for this thing. I have bought 2 of these, and I replaced my Elgato Cam Link with it.
It's not as good as the Cam Link in terms of image quality.
God, no.
But it's significantly cheaper, so like $20 a piece versus $250 for a Cam Link.
And it doesn't tax my Surface or my Nook.
I don't know what Elgato does, but you plug in a Cam Link and your CPU jumps up.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we've got this one, which is my recycled GoPro. So it's just on an arm and it's connected to the monitor stand behind it so that it's always there out of the way. If I need to show something, I can. And then I have this one here, which if I go to a side view, you will see that it's basically just a tripod. Oh, go back to me full size.
You got it?
There we go. Yeah. It's just a tripod with a post and an old Logitech webcam that's pointing down.
Got it.
So that's really all you need, where if you have to show something, you can do this. So in my case, if I wanted to show you and these are actually the show notes from our meeting this week.
We're having an audio problem, even though I'm seeing everything working fine on my end. That's interesting, Iamper. Yeah, I'm hearing that the sound is dying when I go to Pierre, even though I'm seeing the levels just fine. That is so strange.
Okay, can you hear me in this scene?
Yes.
Can everybody else?
Yep. So we can't go to the Pierre solo scene anymore for the time being.
Okay, all right. We'll fix that. But for now, let's keep on that one.
We'll fix it in post.
We'll fix it in post. anyway, I'll just come back to this one here.
Yeah.
So it really is very cheap. And you can only use it, and it's easy to just take it off the desk and put it away when you're not using it. My GoPro is mounted permanently because I use it regularly. Mm-hmm. But if you're only using it once in a while and you're not needing to share some notes or show some hardware, like in some cases, you'd want to maybe show a tablet if you're working with a mobile app that you're demoing. Mm-hmm. Either that or capture the output, but not everybody can do that.
Yeah, it's not possible.
So that is the background on those overhead shots. You don't need them a lot, but when you do, they're very, very useful. I did not want to spend a lot of money on getting new hardware set up. Mm-hmm. So I kind of went through a box and I found that's a GoPro Hero 4. So it won't do wireless, so I can't like Wi-Fi the feed out, but it does have clean HDMI out. So plugged into one of those little ones, and we can put the link in there. Yeah. There's 100 of those on Amazon. Some work really good, and some work not so good.
We'll put the one that Pierre purchased in Canada, the link directly to that one, and I'll put the one that I purchased here in the U.S.
Actually, this one was purchased in the U.S. I couldn't find this specific one in Canada, and that was a recommendation from Mr. Joey Snow.
Mm-hmm. Vizio MVP, yes, the text is upside down because of the way the camera is oriented, and he couldn't reverse it. OBS, yes, I am per, yes, OBS could flip it, but he was using the camera app, and we'll jump back to that view. He's using the camera app in Windows 10 so that we can make it a separate screen. That's why it's upside down.
But if I change to my view from above, can you hear me still?
Yes.
Can everybody else still hear me?
Well, I'm not zoomed in on you, so
okay. So for this view from the GoPro, mm-hmm. I do have a filter or a transform where I flip it vertically.
Yep.
So that it does look proper. Yep. But I couldn't do that with the other one on short notice.
Yep. That's exactly it.
Good catch, though, because most people wouldn't think about it. Because when you look at it, it's fine, but when your audience is looking at it, they kind of have to.
Mm-hmm. And that can really cause an issue.
Oh yeah, because you lose the audience at that point if you're trying to show something that they have to look sideways on.
Exactly, for sure. Well, we've talked about the overhead camera, and one of the best uses I think, Pierre, you brought up is showing off how you can use mobile devices or tablets. And part of the problem, though, when you do that is having a good light at an angle so you can see the device, but you don't have the reflections of the lights in the device.
Or shadows on it.
Yeah. I've used it before at a conference where they had just a little simple overhead, and I could put my phone to show how a mobile app would work. And they had the lights right next to the lens, and those Elmo devices. Yeah, and the reflection off the device was horrible. I had to figure out how. I eventually just put a piece of paper because the lights didn't have any diffusers, and it was my short. I didn't have any parchment paper with me. That's actually maybe something I need to put in my backpack going forward.
I've gone to conferences where we requested an overhead like this for a demo, mm-hmm. and they were going to charge us something like $5,000 for it. And then I just said, never mind, and then just showed up with my webcam on a stick, mm-hmm. and
webcam on a stick. Is it properly coated and deep fried? Oh wait,
No,
that's
no,
southern.
we could
That's southern
try.
webcam on a stick.
We could try, but I'm not willing to take a bite out of it.
Nice. Well, shall we move on to our next part of our day today here?
Yes.
Day today. What? Yeah. Time to move on. See you later. Bye bye. Oh.
Yeah, you're almost all that brain too, eh?
I had my. It's early in the morning. I need the choke still pulled out a little bit.
And I'm looking at the comments and about the sound. I'm betting that I know what the issue is, and you and I have had the conversation on that. And there's pros and cons to both methods of doing it.
Yeah.
I do my sound as my Go XLR is my main in the settings, not in the scenes, where the sound setting is the same across all the scenes. And then you do it where you insert it into every scene. So you have more control from one scene to another, but sometimes if the progress or if the slider bar is not exactly at the same space everywhere, when you go from one scene to another, it sounds like the levels drop or go up. So you're either hot or cold compared to the main scene.
And I would agree with you, except for I have the Go XLR set to the maximum volume point on every scene.
Yeah, the Go XLR. Yeah.
No, I meant the if when I share the audio mixer here, I can actually let's go to the show and tell, and we'll bring up my screen here, and we can do a little bit. See here, I have the Go XLR all the way to the right, and I actually use the Go XLR to balance my audio levels in and out. So I don't turn this down like this at all or anything along those lines. I just leave it maximized in every scene. So I think I know. Whoa, Windows, be nice. I think I know what's going on and can actually go back and I think the problem is in the transition stingers. There's something
maybe
going on in the transition stingers that is unexpected for me. So
okay.
I will go back and look at those because I've been playing with stinger transitions. Aha!
And somebody, Visio MVP, say about the transform to flip the image. He says, well, there's an old school too where you could just turn the camera.
Yep. Actually, ironically, that's what I did with my camera. I used to mount it upside down and then have to use OBS or some other software to turn it over. Well, and I had to run that every time I used Teams. And I finally got sick of it. I just turned the camera right side up and mounted it vertically, properly.
The only thing is that if I do turn it to the other way, now the camera is in between me and what I'm trying to show.
Exactly. There's that too. So you got to find the best of the installation point or whatever you're trying to accomplish.
And SharePoint Madam's asking what's the best GoPro type cameras. Well, there are a number of them. Old GoPros go really cheap. There are some on Amazon. There are some action cams. I think they're like generic action cams that look identical to GoPros, so you can use the same accessories for them and mounts for them.
If you're not going to use it like a GoPro, like as an action camera, I would say you could buy almost anything online and try it.
Yeah, and I've seen some. They look like SLR bodies, but they're about the size of a credit card, a little thicker.
Yeah.
And they have a USB and an HDMI out, so they're clean. And they even have like C100, I think, is the type of mount for cameras.
Yes.
They're typically the type of cameras for closed caption TV or security cameras. There are now, because they have good sensors in them. Some of them have really good sensors, so they have Sony sensors in them, which capture a lot more light than your traditional webcam.
Fair enough.
For about $100. I've seen those online as well.
She has now asked for mounting during off-roading. you're gonna have to go GoPro if you're actually doing off-roading and heavy duty, like car landing and possible high stress situations. The GoPros are built for it.
Well, it's the enclosure that the GoPro's into.
Yeah. Well, it's not just
So
the enclosure. They build those pretty strong, and then you put it into a dang near bulletproof enclosure.
yeah,
Yeah. A good friend of mine, he speaks a lot. In fact, he spoke with you at the last IT Ops Talk event about monitoring, and Eric Namvet. He works here at
yeah.
Microsoft. He's a scuba diver and a pilot, and he has so many GoPros. He'll install like 5 GoPros on his plane when he goes flying and have all these different views. And you'd swear you were in Microsoft Flight Simulator because of all the different views he has. He just doesn't have the chase plane view.
Mount the 360 camera on top of the plane.
I don't know if he's got a 360 yet. That would be awesome if he did, though.
Yeah, you gotta tape it really tight though, because the wind went.
Oh, he has full mount kits that they're like the motorcycle mount kits. I will say this though, I just bought a fun little camera the other day. It was on sale at B&H Photo. This little guy. Yeah, I don't know. Can it?
Yeah, I see it.
It is a little. It's almost meant to be like it has motion sensing, so it'll turn on when there's motion. I'm actually going to install it in my storage unit up in a corner, hidden. So I can, if somebody opens the door, I can go and check it every once in a while and see. I have to charge it, but yeah, and it does low light as well. It's infrared in the dark. Yeah, it's like a spy cam. It's $30 from B&H. I'm going to try it out. I'll let you know. Unfortunately, the output on it, I had to laugh at this. So you can set up it has a USB power that when you plug it in, it's got a USB power, but the output,
Oh.
the old RCA.
Oh. So it's not digital.
It's not digital on that output.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I've seen one that's very close to that. It's very small, and it comes on a bracket. It's almost like one of those things that you put on the door to hang a wreath at Christmas, like a big J hook.
Yeah.
So that your camera will be in the middle of your laptop screen when you're presenting, so that when you're looking at your notes on the screen, it looks like you're looking at the camera.
Nice. Yeah, absolutely. This actually saves to a little SD card that's built into it. I can pull the SD card out and look at the video. So
very cool. All right, let's
go to the next thing that we were going to talk about.
Yes. YouTube versus Twitch.
Well, it's not just YouTube versus Twitch. It's all the kind of the streaming platforms of what does all the platforms offer. We thought we'd just talk through some of the decisions we've made and why we've chosen certain platforms.
Yeah.
For Patch and Switch, obviously we use Twitch, and we're also over on Learn TV. And so we actually have to use a service called Restreamio to send 2 streams, one to Twitch and one to Learn TV. Now, over on AZ Update, you guys are like everywhere.
We're using StreamYard on mostly because we've been running for over a year now, so it's every Friday. So whenever I wasn't available when we were doing the OBS thing, we'd either have to call you, which is really early in the morning, or somebody, and Anthony at the time had his machine on top of an ice bucket.
Yes, we've discussed that one.
So he didn't have enough power. Is he online? Is he with us? No.
He's not with us, but I remember I was actually, one of the things we're going to talk about right now, or coming up, is publishing to the internet. And I actually had to edit our first show, and we talked about Anthony and his old laptop in that show.
Yeah, so I became the bottleneck. So I couldn't take a Friday off or a week off, because we didn't have anybody else that could that didn't have like the setup and the horsepower at the time. We do now. And we're doing a lot more. Like we've got Azure Unblogged and IT Ops Talks recording, where it's kind of like interview style.
Very much, yeah.
We didn't want to depend on Teams because we're internal. We're running on preview software, so sometimes internally Teams is not as stable as it is outside, if you could believe that.
Hence the reason why, if you take a look, Pierre is coming to me on Skype. See that in the bottom right corner of his video? Because I was having Teams problem this morning.
Yeah. So and we didn't want to like have to worry about, okay, so here's an invitation. You have the wrong version of Skype installed. You have to install the desktop version, not the Windows 10 version. Blah 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 blah. So we started using StreamYard, which is a really kind of cool, where the horsepower and the encoding and everything is done elsewhere. You have less control over the scenes, less control over transition. But if I'm not here, Anthony just logs in as the producer view, and then he decides to switch the scenes, and StreamYard has built-in multi-endpoint when you have the Pro version, multi-endpoint streaming. So we do like Learn TV, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook.
Wow, incredible! That's a nice capability that StreamYard gives.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about Restream.io.
So, and we use Channel 9 uses Restream.io because that people can then producers and broadcasters can actually stream to multiple different endpoints. They pay for a pro version of Restreamio that allows us to do the endpoint for live or Learn TV live, because that's just an RTMP endpoint. And there's no like published endpoint like YouTube or Facebook or Twitch have.
Yeah, that's correct.
So, now what's where do you guys get the most following for AZ Update? I know we're on Twitch and we made affiliate. And I Am Per said Twitch affiliates can't restream to YouTube though, right? No, we can't. Technically, we can't restream to Learn TV. But we do it anyways because it's Microsoft and it's a low impact.
And they are different types of affiliate contracts, because some will allow you, as long as it's not live at the same time. So you could have your content live on Twitch, and then you can put the recording somewhere else.
Of course, and that actually is allowed by the affiliate contract that I remember reading. The problem is the multi-live. The reason why we're, Patch and Switch is willing to push that limit, if you will, with Microsoft Learn TV, is because Twitch could be blocked by an enterprise, but Learn TV would not be. So we want to make sure
it's just a web. It's just a web page.
Exactly. It's and most. If you take a look at most firewalls that restrict access to things like YouTube and Facebook and all that, Twitch is one of the things that it will block, but Microsoft domains aren't. So that's how sometimes we can help IT pros see our shows.
Yeah. And I think I don't think that Twitch would, because the audience it's not typically the same audience. So it's not like one is cannibalizing the other.
Correct. Most people want to watch it on Twitch because we have the chat room going and it's a lot more fun.
Well, there's a chat on Learn TV as well now.
There is?
Yep.
Okay. Way to go, Goldmass!
Yeah, there is chat. It's a little different, but there is chat.
There is.
I think it's Pubble based, so they're using a service called Pubble to embed the chat into the web page.
So now, one of the things you brought up is being able to put the video on demand someplace.
Yes, that's my. I love Twitch. I love the audience. It's mostly, but I find that Twitch discoverability is really badly. Like if you're watching Patch and Switch, or if you're watching C# Fritz or IT Ops Talk or Azure Fun Bytes or anybody like that, then when you log in the first time and in the front page and it's showing you ASMR videos or gaming videos of a game that you've never played, like the algorithm doesn't really line up with the type of content that I want. So unless I know, because somebody told me that J-Shock is streaming and here's his channel address, then the chances of me finding it like are next to nothing. So unless you know what you're looking for, it's really hard to get discovered and to grow the audience within Twitch.
Yes, I would completely agree.
Yeah, versus YouTube, which has a more what's the word I'm looking for? Modern algorithm. Not modern, but deeper algorithm, where it looks at the type of stuff that you've looked before and then starts showing you stuff that is in the same style or categories. And if you've liked this video and this video and this video, then your videos will show up in somebody else's feed. So it's a little bit easier to get discovered and to have people kind of like stumble upon the content versus Twitch, which I find is a little tough on the discoverability.
For sure. Well, let's actually talk about that, because one of the things we're going to actually do with testing and production is, lo and behold, huzzah, we've created a YouTube channel.
Yes.
Yet another channel for us to maintain. Why did we do this?
Because we're a sucker for punishments?
Yeah, ain't that the truth? Yes. So we've actually created a YouTube channel for Testing and Production Podcast. Yep. We actually have episode 1. You can see here it's in draft mode. So let's talk about this.
We're going to be testing in production and actually publishing while we're recording the next one?
Exactly. So what we've done is, if I take a look here, I have actually, here's our first episode from way back when. Isn't this all the inception? Here we go. There's the inception. I could probably find the point where we talked about Anthony's laptop here. But one of the things I've done, I took our live feed, and then at the end, I was able to go in and I created an end card specifically. Now, Pierre, you told me to do this, and I didn't understand. So why don't you tell me why I did this?
Okay, so end cards to me are really, really important to promote your own content and to promote your playlist or something that is in the same that you decide, which is at the end of the video. Now, if you don't put anything, then YouTube will just suggest a whole bunch of videos from its own algorithm. But if you want to control that a little bit, in the end card, you're going to have the subscribe, a link to the subscribe button, and potentially coupled, because there's a multiple kind of template where you can have. If you've liked this video, this one is like the part 2 of this content, or there's a playlist of things that we've put together that is in the same or the same type of content or the same topics. So the people that are watching your video till the end, if they're watching it till the end, that means they're interested in what you're saying, in the content you're creating. So you're proposing your own content for them that they may not have discovered if they had not watched it till the end.
Well, that's great. So what I ended up doing is taking, this is our this logo is a great logo that Pierre came up with. I got to say, this has been a fun process working with Pierre, because I came up with a name, like I think I mentioned it in the first episode, in the shower. Pierre, you came up with this real quick because you're like, oh my gosh, testing and I saw this like 15 minutes later. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is perfect for our logo.
And my wife asked me why the arrows didn't hit the bullseye. There's a method to our madness.
There is. So I went ahead and added that in. I also took in this, I edited a couple things just so everyone is aware. I edited the outro music so that it was local. It wasn't from the stream, so that it played fully through. And I also had to bleep out a swear word from Mr. Pierre. I was going through trying to figure out the chapters, and all of a sudden I hear this. Whoop! I was like, "Whoa, that needs to be edited." So I've created this. I use Adobe, or not Adobe. I use DaVinci Resolve, and it's actually a free video editor that is super. It's used by Hollywood. For sure. And I now have kind of a template that I could actually create these videos with pretty easily. So I've uploaded the video, and here it is in the draft form, and now I'm going to go into the details. And one of the things you might see here is I actually created a thumbnail, and this was something else you brought up.
Yeah, so thumbnails, because when people are looking at the side bar in YouTube where you've got all the videos, a good thumbnail that catches somebody's attention and has a couple words on it that tells them what this is about, in a lot of cases is what's going to get that person who's never seen your content before to actually click on it and say, what the hell is this about? And then you're basically giving the audience in one short image a taste as to what you're going to have in terms of content.
Yes, and as you can see here, they automatically kind of choose some. It's better to make your own and upload it.
Yeah.
Seriously. And this took me 5 seconds. I had already gone through the video and found, this frame I thought was the best. And then I just I threw on a copy of our logo and just some text in the bottom right. It worked out perfect.
Yep. It's fairly straightforward. I do that for every video that I make. So, for example, and of course I can't find it now because I'm not looking in the right spot.
Well, I'll take you off of the show until you're ready.
Until I'm ready, yes, please.
The other thing that we did, you got to put a good title in. For example, for us, we're going to be date driven. And so we just testing in production, March 12th, 2021. We could put like episode 1. We could put episode numbers. Is that something we should do, by the way, everyone? I'll look at the, does having an episode number help you out, chat room? While Pierre is looking.
I found it. But my computer is not cooperating.
Make the episode numbers random. Thanks, JFlo. That would work perfect.
You know what? In some case, it doesn't really matter what the episode number is. Yeah. What is important is that the title is descriptive, or that there's a date on it or something, because people are not going to know that it's season 1, episode 3, but they are going to know that it is May 7th, or it was in May.
Yeah, Visio MVP said stick to the dates, but episodes let you know if you missed one. Great point there. Only to see if that one episode is older, younger than the other. Okay, that's good. I mean, it's something we can easily tack on at the end, for sure. And then we could change them around just to mess with everybody, like JFlo said to do. The other thing, let's kind of go through here. Are good if you're listening to them. Oh, good point. Episode numbers are good if you're listening in the car to them. But Absablog and Lootly, this is going to be video only. We're not going to do audio because we do so much show and tell in our videos. It makes it tough to do as an audio only podcast, because we do a lot of times say, well, if you take a look at this, and I really want you to keep your eye on the road when you're doing that. Don't be looking at the podcast. If you're watching the podcast in the car, stop it. And Matt, I'm talking to you, Mr. Tesla guy. Stop watching the podcast in the car. I have a guy from my
Right.
team who has figured out how to watch videos in the car. So
Yeah, it's not recommended.
no.
Like I've never understood when you get the head units for the radio, like replacement head units that
Yeah.
have DVD players in them, and I'm like, why?
The only time I've ever used a DVD player and I had one in my old Xterra, was when I was camping and I watched a video while I was sleeping in the back.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh well, if you're sleeping, that's not too bad, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's go through here. Title. We'll still figure out on the. So Absolutely replied back. Yeah, that's really more for other podcasts that I listen to while I was driving. Yes, I totally get you there. I have several. That could be something we could talk about. Is just podcasting in general. What we listen to. What kind of stuff. How we listen to them. We can talk about that in a future. I will take a note, by the way. Taking notes. Listen to podcasts. I'll probably see that later this week and go, wow, why did I mark down that I need to listen to podcasts? No, I wasn't sleeping and driving, Fuels Novel. I was camping in the back of my Xterra.
Yeah, and I found the one I wanted to show you.
Oh, here we go. Ta-da! Hey, look at that. Good
So
stuff.
it's like the really bold lettering in the middle. So even if you don't understand or know who these people are, which if you're a PowerShell fan, you know that this is Jason Helmick and Joey Aiello,
Yep.
two really big names in PowerShell. And then there's this random guy on the upper left. I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
But you can tell that by the three words, like the PowerShell deep dive in bold, kind of eye-catching font. And that's what I use for, or something. I try to use always the same look and feel for a thumbnail across all the videos, so people start getting used to it.
Yeah. Nope. That's the right way to do it. It pops the attention for sure.
Yeah. So end card.
Yes. End card. We've done that. Well, let's talk about description. So I've got in here just a basic thing. Welcome to our new podcast. Join Pierre and Jared for our. I say myself. They don't know it's me. It's from the podcast. So join Pierre and Jared for our shenanigans. Watch us as we talk about streaming technologies that we use on the podcasts we produce.
Yep.
What's that for description? And I have our socials here.
Few people are actually going to read the whole thing unless there's a piece of information that you've referred to. You know when people do that?
Yep.
So you can find the information in the link below.
Yep. Exactly. But here's the fun part. I'm going to grab. I actually went through last night and found all the different spots in the video.
Yes, and that's really important, especially if you're doing like an hour show or an hour recording. And then later on, you tell somebody, we did talk about this in that episode. They may not want to have to go through and re-listen or listen to the 1 hour to get the 30 seconds where there's a piece of information that they need.
Yep. Now, the first show was horrible because we bounced around so many different places.
Which is why we have a production meeting now.
Yes, exactly. So I've now got our chapters. I've got our socials in here. What else should we have? I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, disclaimer, if you're using music there that you have a license for, you have to put it in.
Yep.
If you're using that's common creative license, that you have to actually give credit to where you got it. For anything, could it be like for us in AZ Update, the intro and the music is used under common creative, so we have at the bottom of our we have the credit as to who created it and where we got it from. If you don't do that, you can get a strike.
Correct. So I've purchased both of our music. It's called The opening music is called It Just Got Real, and the outro music is called The Sequel is Darker. And purchased and licensed by Jared Shockley. Okay, cool. So there is my information in the description. So we got the thumbnail.
Typically, if we've talked about a few things, like we've talked about this little things, you would have a link at the bottom that say, hey, if you're interested, here's the link to go get it.
We talked about a few things, but nothing specific in this show, in this specific episode, so we'll go ahead and move on. Playlist, we actually have this in an episodes playlist. Or we'll have it. Here's an important thing, by the way. Is your video made for kids? In our case, no, it's not made for kids. There are specific rules to comply, and our videos are made for IT pros. Kids may watch them, but they are specifically not made for children. And we don't have it.
You say it's made for children, it goes onto specific algorithm where it's if somebody's account is 13 years and younger, they're showed for it. They could be showed in schools and stuff like that. But now, if you say then you will be banned.
Wow. All right.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, that was good. See, I didn't have to go back and do that later when I edit this video. Now, if we actually have a paid promotion during our show, we have to check this box. We don't in this case. Here's another one, tags. What tags should we put in here?
Tags is typically anything or any topic that we've discussed that we want to be found on.
So like streaming in this case.
Yeah. But now YouTube, if you put the tags also in the description, it'll catch the first three and put them again atop of the title below once you published it.
Yep. So we have streaming camera. What else do we have here? IT pros.
IT pros, shenanigan.
Put in shenanigans again. Shenanigans.
It's basically anything you want to be included in when somebody searches. So
and this is to help in searching.
If we're talking about Azure, if we're talking about Elgato, if we're talking about microphones, and we're talking about like you could go nuts on tags and put everything you've talked about.
So I think this is pretty good for us.
For now.
Yeah. I'm actually, this may be an overload, but I'm gonna put in Azure because we do talk a little bit about Azure here and there all the time.
Sometimes.
What language are you in? We're in English. We don't have any captions, so no certification. You can actually put the record date. So this was recorded back in March. We could put a location. And then the standard licensing. We have a standard YouTube license, or we could do Creative Commons attribution. I didn't know which one you wanted to choose there.
I just typically use the YouTube one. Creative Commons means somebody can actually pull it out of YouTube and use it somewhere else as long as they give you credit for it.
Yeah. We do allow embedding and publishing to subscription feeds and notify subscribers.
Yep.
For shorts, we allow people to sample our content. Sure, that's okay. I've seen where people have done this, where they've grabbed content from somebody else, and it does link back to the originator. So I think that's good.
Yes.
We're in the
credit is due everywhere, all the time.
Yep. We do have, we want to be in the category of people and blogs. We're going to hold potentially inappropriate comments and show how many people, show the likes and dislikes. Why not? So we go to the next page here.
Yes.
Here's where we could add subtitles if we had them. Here's where I've already added the end screen, but we'll go ahead and go in and take a look. So in here, I have created a, where it does, it'll show our episodes here to one side, and then on top of the little target I created, it has a subscribe link.
Yeah. So one of the things is you want to add a bumper at the end that is kind of like the same, almost like a static image that you spread over multiple frames, so that your end card fits over top of that. And there are multiple tutorials on how to create those, where you can have specific templates where the boxes, because those boxes are always going to be in the same spot. So if you want to have a frame and a picture of Jared that points at the box, well, you could, and add that at the end of all your videos. But it does. If you don't do that, then you end up at the end of your video have the end card overlapped of the content if you don't have the bumper.
Exactly. And I've seen this. One of my favorite YouTube channels that I love to watch is Voss Aviation. If you're into aviation at all, Voss Aviation does a really good job of taking ATC information or ATC audio and put it on top of either a special radar image that he creates from ADBS, the aircraft data, to talk about incidents and similar. So, but his outros, everything is covered up, and the end of the video is always covered by cards, which I really hate. So we've gone ahead and I've added to our end screen, it's going to be our playlist of episodes, and then a link to subscribe to the channel.
Yes.
For now.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong from asking somebody to like and subscribe.
Nope, there's not.
Most of the people that actually are watching the content, they're watching it because they like it.
Yeah. Now we can also... oh, go ahead.
Most of the time they forget to hit the like button, which helps the algorithm.
Yep.
And the subscribe is if you're invested into that content creator, you subscribe.
Yep.
And then you hit the bell if you're like, okay, I'm invested enough that I want to know exactly when the next video shows up.
Got it. Yep, exactly. Now we can add cards throughout the video, which put those little things in the top corners. But the biggest one that we would probably want to do is the link to to something we're talking about. We can't do that until we're part of their partner program. So,
right.
All right, let's move on to the next thing. Then it's going to check no copyright issues have been found. Terrific. I can go next. By the way, in the bottom left here, it says video upload is complete. It's processed even the HD version, and so we're ready to publish because there's no copyright issues. So now we can actually say public. You could even do it as an instant premiere right this second, or we could schedule it. I say we do an instant premiere. What do you think?
Sure, why not?
Let's publish. And ladies and gentlemen, Testing and Production is on YouTube now. Huzzah! Nice round of applause there. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. So we're actually on the air, and we are on the YouTubes. We'll probably publish that out onto our Twitter streams as well. And we're going to be going back and getting all the episodes into this YouTube channel. So definitely like and subscribe.
We're still not showing when you do a search on Testing and Production, though.
It's because it's Testing and Production podcast. As somebody else, there's, yeah.
There we go. Premieres now.
Yep. We're actually premiering now, and we actually have a playlist, and look at that. We have episodes in the playlist.
Woohoo!
So, huzzah!
So to conclude this conversation, because it is getting to this time.
Yep, it is.
We stream on Twitch. Why aren't we streaming on YouTube? Well, we could do both. It's just a personal preference. Plus, we're basically placeholders for Patch and Switch, or seat warmers for them, if you ask Rick or Joey. They are allowing us to squat into their channel. But we really could be posting everywhere, but we want the content because after a month, I think it's 40 days, once you're an affiliate on Twitch, your content disappears. So we want it to stick around for a while. So we download it. We either download it from Twitch, or like the last episode I recorded as we were streaming it.
I'm recording right now.
and so now we can you take that content, make sure that we all of the bad words if we have any, and we upload it so that it can be discovered by others.
Yeah.
And obviously, somebody who's watching it on YouTube will see that. The one thing that doesn't come across is the chat, the interaction. So that's to me is gold, and you can only get that live.
Yeah.
So when we're recording and putting it on YouTube's, people are watching the YouTube, and when we say, hey, so Visio MVP says that this content is made by children. What?
Yep.
Yeah, he did. He said made by kids.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
John, we're going to have a talk.
Oh, I know. He
Anyway,
does that.
So people don't get that.
They don't get that interaction. So.
Don't get the interaction. If we were recording in YouTube, then when you're watching it again, you can have the chat. So this is a discussion that you need to have with your partner or with yourself if you're podcasting on your own, to what kind of experience do you want to have at the end? And if you've never started to stream, does it make sense to start streaming on Twitch or go to YouTube? Like if you don't have that built-in audience that you're carrying with you, it's a decision you have to make.
It is. It's something you have to really figure out where your audience is going to be. I've chosen to do Twitch for my personal streaming, only because I don't feel my audience is on YouTube. That's a personal choice. I also feel
you have an audience.
Sort of the attention span of ferrets on cocaine.
There we go. Okay, much better. Anyway. Well, it's been a pretty good episode. Until the end. I hope we've covered a couple things, and yes, we're going to be getting the videos out. I know several folks have asked, "Hey, I would love to show this to a friend." That's why we're going to get these up onto YouTube. We'd love to have people share that out. I just want to get to enough subscribers to where we can have Test in Production as like youtube.com/test in production or whatever. Get the vanity URL. So thank you, I am Per. He already is subbed. Thank you so much. Again, this is starting to become a passion for both Pierre and I. We do have lots of fun. I have to thank Pierre heavily for covering Patch and Switch last weekend while I was off in Milwaukee, surprising my friend Mr. Peter Gray for his 50th birthday. And you know what? You got an even bigger surprise than me and Art showing up for his 50th birthday. His son had an appendectomy.
Oh.
Slightly bigger surprise there.
Not the type of surprise you want, though.
No, he preferred the Art and Jared showing up surprise.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm either going to drink bourbon with Jared and Art, or I'm going to go hang out at the hospital.
At the hospital, yeah. We do want to pass along our condolences and our thoughts and prayers to Mr. Johnny Chips with a Z, who lost his mother earlier this week. Our thoughts are with you, my friend. Seriously. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We'll be back in 2 weeks. This week was Jared in control. Next time it's going to be Pierre. Who knows what's going to happen? Because
Hey, and if you have suggestions, because like I'm going to rewatch this and go through the comments. And see if there's any, like, say, oh, I want to talk about this, or what was this thing about? Because I mentioned our last show, we were talking, and
Mr. Scott Metzel asked a question.
Yeah, Mr. Scott Metzel asked if the app that I was using on the iPad was a iOS app, and so I did ping him on the Discord server to tell him to give him the answer, but it was both. It was the app that ran on the iPad, but the control units where you actually create the logic, the buttons, and the layout is either on a Windows or a Mac machine. So it's kind of like an iPad, iOS, and Android, and Windows.
Yep.
And Mac, of course. So.
Well, and just a reminder to everyone, we will be constantly testing in production here on this show. So give us ideas. One idea that I have, and be ready. Hopefully you're all members over at the IT Ops Talk Discord. That's at aka.ms/IT Ops Talk-Discord, right?
Yep.
That's the link to join. One of the things we're going to do is try and take a plethora of questions on the stage. Yes, I had to use it because I am just asked about it. We're going to try and set up and use the stage, and we're going to want to take live questions from folks. So make sure you're a member over there. We will let folks know on the Twitters that I put the link to our Twitter. It's Test and Prodcast. That's not a bad name either on the Twitters. And we will try and set up to take some live Q&A questions from folks in the next couple episodes. I think that would be a fun thing to do as well. And we want to try and learn the platform.
And maybe you would take over one of the video channels and do like a watch party / restream.
Mm-hmm. We need to talk about build, by the way, my friend.
Oh yeah, I'm presenting a build. I'm running a roundtable discussion on hybrid.
Understood. But we also need to do like we did with the. I think we need to do what we did with Ignite, and do some watch parties of our own over here. Take over the channel during the week. We could do some more testing and production.
That could be done.
That could be done. We need to talk about that. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for showing up, and we'll see next week. AZ update, 10 a.m. Eastern, correct? 7 a.m.
Yes.
Pacific?
Yes, and as my friend Thomas Maurer would say, empower!
So I guess the bigger question is...
All right, Twinkle Toes, what's your exit strategy?
I think we just shut off the stream now.
Yeah, I'm just going to pull the chute.
All right, take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Cheers.